This week, Richard Fiennes looks at the automotive clothing of designer and biker Nick Ashley. Tony Zenka's on the street investigating road rage. And J Vokins looks at legal gadgets to detect speed traps. First, the first of two reports from the Quick Check on her historic rally in New Zealand.
Hello and welcome back to New Zealand for our third instalment from the Royal Sun Alliance Rally 2000. Today we're on a hub rally and I'm in the driving seat. We've come out to Aotearoa, to the home of the Kiwi, not the residents, the small brown birds. And we've been up to the Kiwi house to have a look around. Unfortunately, the nearest you're going to get to a Kiwi is probably this little chap. But they are nocturnal, we'll have to give them their dues. Right now, we're off on the rally, so I'll see you later. We've spent our time talking about vintage motoring as it is today, but I'm with the oldest member of the Vintage Car Club of New Zealand, Elvis Shepherd, who is currently 99 years old, with her little Austin A35 down there. And now Elvis, you tell me that you've had the car since new.
Yes, I have. At that time, one couldn't buy a new car unless you had funds overseas. I didn't. But I had relations with a large factory. They were ordering cars all the time. So they chose an A35 for me as a surprise.
Well, that's been a long and very hot day in the driving seat. We've had a great time, we've seen some fantastic countryside. Next time, we're going to be going to a rally especially for Austin 7s. To meet some of this little car's brothers and sisters. So join me next time.
Yeah, city centre Manchester, gridlock, noise, pollution. Do you know what? You can literally taste the pollution in the air. These drivers stuck in the cars, going nowhere, under pressure, tensions building, people cutting them up in traffic. Yeah, it can only lead to one thing. You know what? Road rage!
Oh, don't go there, mate. There's no room. Oh, look at it. He's going for it. Oh, no. Not bad. Not bad. Nice car. Yeah, nice car, mate. Yeah, why don't you learn to drive it, eh? Excuse me. Does this belong to you? Personally, I like to get my road rage out of the way before I even set off on a journey.
If you're driving right, what's the one thing that makes you really mad when you're driving?
One is speed, but the other one is when they cut in or they don't let you out. When there's a flow of traffic and you're to pull out and the flow of traffic's come to a stop at a light and they don't let you out, they just stop. They could let 2 or 3 people out, which would stop a lot of road traffic jams, I think.
Now, would you be tempted to dish out a few hand signals at this stage?
I have done in the past probably, but yeah.
What sort of hand signals might you dish out?
Well, probably what everybody else does. Maybe it's not good for the camera, but you know what it's like. Yeah.
Right. We're here today talking about road rage. Right, mate, you're out on the street, yeah, be honest, yeah? You're driving along, mind your own business, not breaking any laws. What makes you mad when you're driving?
People are very sensitive. And when somebody invades their space, be it 10 foot, 5 foot,
right,
they get 5 foot closer to the guy in front.
So if somebody's driving right up your arse, that makes you mad?
Somebody's right behind you,
yeah,
they're invading your space.
What's the one thing that really gets you go? What makes you mad when you're out driving?
Oh, just people cutting you up, really, I suppose.
And if you see somebody cuts you up, what do you do about it?
Well, I don't go as mad as I used to. I don't bother.
Would you do a few hand signals or something like that?
I might gesture, yeah.
You might gesture. And what sort of gesture might you do?
Well, the usual.
Just hypothetically.
Well, the usual victory one, eh?
Oh, victory, yeah? You can't go wrong with that, can you?
Not normally, no.
Road rage is only another expression, right, of how sensitive people really are.
Right. I can see you're quite a sensitive man, aren't you?
Because it's got fashionable at the minute and people don't know how to put a name on it. It's the same. If you push somebody in a pub, you push him once or twice, you get away with it. If you're in the wrong mood, you won't.
Let me put this to you, right? You're driving along, yeah?
Right.
You're listening to Radio 2, just chilling out, yeah?
Right.
You know, a nice bit of Steve right in the afternoon, yeah?
Right.
And I come along, right, in my silver Golf GTI, yeah?
Yeah.
I cut you up, and as I cut you up, I stick my finger up at you as well.
Right.
Now, what would you do then?
That depends whether I've just got an £190 water bill that morning, doesn't it?
You know when you're out and about driving, do you ever sort of get angry at other drivers?
Quite often, yes.
What sort of things make you mad?
People that don't indicate.
Right, let's assume you've had your gas bill, your electric bill and your water bill, right? You've had a
That
row,
morning,
that morning, you've had a row with your wife, right? I've come along in my car and I've cut you up, yeah, and I've stuck a finger up at you. What are you going to do about it?
Get some kind of response, aren't you?
What I'm asking you, what response are you going to do?
The same back. What else can you do while you're in the car? But that's what it's all about. You're millions of people living on top of each other, and if you start invading their space, you're going to get problems.
Well, mate, you're getting on my nerves now. We're going to have a fight in a minute. Do you know that?
Well, anytime you like.
Not a fight here and now. Yeah, come on then.
This is the last tree left in Manchester. All right, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it soon will be if they keep building all these bleeding car parks, tarmac, noise, pollution. Oh, it's doing me head in. I've had enough.
This week I've mostly been wearing Nick Ashley.
Oh, there's the man himself. Nick, nice to meet you at last. I'm glad you got my 9-page fax in the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't miss it.
Tell me, how long have you been here?
6 years in September. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
And what instigated the shop in the first place?
Well, I've always used motorbikes as a way of getting around town. I mean, when I'm not racing them, I'm using them to get around town because I can't stand driving in town. I get seriously ratty.
And bicycles?
Bicycles,
just
mainly.
not.
Well, bicycles, you get kind of hot and sweaty. So you quite cut it.
Yeah.
So a motorbike's just a quick way, effortless way of getting around town. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really like wearing sort of, motorbike clothes as they were available in the market at that stage. So I thought I'll just sort of design some of my own.
This bike you got outside, do you want to tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, I could tell you a lot about that. That is an Eric Cheney Triumph.
Right.
Eric Cheney is one of Britain's most famous off-road frame builders, a man...
God.
A god of the frame building world.
Yes.
He still builds frames. The man is just a superhero with his son Simon. Mm-hmm. And he's always just concentrated on building the lightest, most functional, and therefore the most beautiful creation known to the motorcycling world. Lightness is a big priority. Performance is a top priority, and a part of performance is lightness, protection, weather protection,
yes, of course.
Maintenance, durability, comfort. They're all factors in that, all very important. Famous riders include people like Steve McQueen. Steve McQueen used to actually stay with Eric when he was in town. He used to stay at Eric's house in Aldershot rather than all the fuss in London. Yeah. And the real soulmates. Yeah. Bud Ekins, another big. Bud Ekins was the stunt rider that actually did the Great Escape.
Oh, yep.
Malcolm Smith. I mean, like reams and reams of people, and it's just a beautiful British bike.
So, do you feel pressurised that you have to come up with some new designs each year?
No, I don't do that kind of fashion slave thing. I mean, it's usually. I mean, it's got to the stage now where my customers come in and tell me what they want, and if they don't tell me what I want, I show them what I think they might need, and they either agree or they disagree. Sometimes the timing is wrong. Sometimes I'm really enthusiastic about something, and the customers think it stinks. So I'll store it and bring it back. At some other stage, and then it's the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah. And do you ever give any clothes to competing bikers so they can really test them out in the the sports arena, for want of a better
Yeah,
better
I have
phrase.
done. Yeah, for 2 years I supplied John Deacon in the Paris-Dakar with some cotton reinforced with Kevlar.
Right.
So, which was really nice.
And he was a biker. He's a biker, is he?
He's Britain's top desert racer.
Right.
Yeah, finished 6th in Dakar.
Gosh.
Top man. My hero.
Jeez.
I've been using a skid lid for many years. Good thing about a skid lid is that they're very compact, very light. And then, you know, the other clothes are sort of designed to go with this.
To complement.
Yeah, to complement this. So this is kind of, you know, basis. This is the sort of starting point.
Excellent. Excellent. And is that a patty copy, the cork lined, like the old Sterling Moss racing?
Yeah, this is
helmet?
cork lined.
Yep.
Cork and leather.
Yep.
About as much protection as a carved out spud, but it's light and you know, it doesn't get in the way. You can carry if you know.
Yeah. Going into a pub.
Carry it as a spare. Yeah, you can get rid of it. Or if you want to carry a spare one, you can keep it stored in a backpack and pull it out. And
the goggles have you designed?
The goggles are just old retro goggles that have always been made by the manufacturer. On the accessories side, accessories are difficult to get made in small batches, so I buy all my accessories in. And I mean, how could I improve on a pair of goggles like that? They're the original. These are the original type of goggles that were developed for motoring years ago. So I'm not going to come and try and redesign them. They're perfect. They've been evolved over many years. I use sheepskin on the outside a lot, which is an idea I got from the Imperial War Museum. Bomber Command always used to have their sheepskin on the outside. As just to show that they were bombers down the pub. You know, they were the ones that pulled the birds. You know, you always thought it was the fighter pilots, but the bomber guys had the sheepskin on the outside. It's probably less efficient that way, but they had to stand out from the crowd. So you know, they were fashion victims even then.
Ah, the joys of motoring. Fine car, beautiful scenery, not a soul in sight. Things don't get much better than this for the enthusiast motorist. But before you start getting thoughts of delicious bellowing engine noises as the rev counter hits the blushing zone, this road, like all the roads round it, has a blanket speed limit of just 40 miles an hour. Now, virtually every new car available on the market today has a top speed of 100 miles an hour or more, responsive handling and brakes to match. This blend of potential performance therefore calls for more restraint from the modern driver than ever before, and it's not surprising that some drivers find roads such as these just that bit too tempting. My theory is that the temptation for such drivers becomes all the more irresistible when the speed limit seems unjustified and doesn't reflect the danger of the situation. I cannot believe that there are many sane people out there who believe it's okay to go past a school at more than 30 miles an hour, but those same people would find difficulty in sticking to the arbitrary 40 mile an hour limit imposed on these glorious roads around here. And there are many who believe also that setting speed traps on such roads is more about raising revenue than making the roads safer. Still, the law is the law, and I, for one, wouldn't want to be seen to be inciting anyone to break speed limits. So how can you, the law-abiding motorist, stay on the right side of the law if all you're trying to do is keep up with the mass of moving traffic that's travelling down the motorway at a steady 80? Well, the way I see it, you have three options. The first is next time you're buying a new car, if you've got the budget for it, try and find one that has cruise control. That way, all you have to do is set it at the speed they want and let the car take control and keep your license for you. Oh, excuse me. Let's be honest, driving around on cruise control at these sort of speeds is like mainlining Mogadon. Okay, so that's not ideal. The second method for keeping out of trouble is perhaps best explained by me introducing you to Steve Warren, of ukspeedtraps.co.uk.
Radar detectors were made legal a couple of years ago. These devices will detect laser, they'll detect Gatso cameras on the side of the road, handheld radar. They work very effectively. They mount on your windscreen and plug into your cigarette lighter. However, again, you don't rely on these because you're not guaranteed that they're going to pick up everything. I have been in a few occasions where you're virtually on top of the Gatso, and if you were speeding at that point, you would never have enough time to slow down. This snooper unit's one of the smallest ones available and works very well and will give you at least 100 metres warning on a Gatso. But again, as even Snooper would say, these are not a licence to speed. They're a product that will assist in safe driving or warn you of appropriate hazards that might be in front, and maybe that is just a set of temporary traffic lights down a country lane, because they will pick up the radar off the temporary traffic lights, right down to the policeman that's hiding in the bushes ready to jump out in front of you. They'll give you a reasonable amount of warning.
And those don't just detect radar, do they?
No, you can, as you get used to them, you'll find out that they'll detect Tesco's and Morrison's and anyone which has got an automatic door on the front with a radar. They're temporary traffic lights, permanent traffic lights.
So it's really quite handy then.
It can be.
Steve, thanks very much for that. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
So there you have it. That's two very good ways of avoiding a speeding ticket. But, as you might expect, I've been saving the best till last. There is one absolutely foolproof way of avoiding ever being caught for speeding, and that is to buy a car that can't even spell speed.
Hello and welcome back to New Zealand for day 4 of the Royal Sun Alliance Rally 2000. Today we've taken leave of the rest of the cars and come out to join the Austins because today is one make day. We're off on a little run and later on we're going to meet all of the rest of the Austin 7 people from New Zealand. Now, Austin didn't just make the Austin 7. Like many of the modern car manufacturers, they made a whole range of vehicles. Now we're here with Stuart McCulley and an Austin A90. And this car has a quite interesting history, doesn't it, Stuart? Or is a replica of a car with an interesting history?
That's correct. This is the model that was taken over to Indianapolis in 1949. And they established on the Speedway 63 open model stock car records.
Right, and it achieved quite an impressive average speed as well, didn't it?
Yes, the average speed was 70.54 miles per hour over a 7 days period.
7 days, so it ran continually for 7 days?
Yes, it did, day and night.
Right, and this car's actually a replica that you own, isn't it?
Well, the bonnet is a replica of the one that did broke the records at Indianapolis.
Right, because it's quite unusual, because it's red, isn't it?
That's
the rest
correct.
of the car's green.
Yes. Well, on one of the laps there, it was a green car, and the bonnet flew open and got destroyed. So they took a bonnet off another car they had there, and it just happened to be red, and they put that on.
And it's stayed like that ever since?
It has. It's still on that car in Birmingham.
Excellent. So what do you actually use your A90 for?
I use it, I'm a member of the Vintage Car Club here in New Zealand, and I use it for rallying. We sometimes have cars on show, and we often do street parades, Christmas parades, things like that.
It's a very well used car then?
It is well used. I tow a camper.
Yeah? So you can go on holiday in it?
Yes, yes.
That's excellent. Well, this is certainly a very interesting car. And now we're going to go on to meet a few of the other cars that make up the Austin family. Well, that's the end of another hot and sunny day in New Zealand. We've been here to enjoy all of the Austins today, but next time, here on Motor Mania, we'll be seeing what the public make of the 1,500 vintage cars assembled at Mystery Creek.